to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, June 30th, we're going to get this meeting called to order, and agenda. I believe, Stan, you mentioned you have some changes.
Well, I'd like to move items 9 and 10 up to the front, just because I have to leave here in a half an hour,
That's no problem.
not knowing where everything will fall.
Sure, we'll move 9 and 10 up. Any other changes?
Nope.
Okay, should we make a motion here?
So moved.
Second.
Without further discussion, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved with the changes. Okay, how about your minutes? Now, we've got 2 different minutes to look at from last Tuesday and Friday, both. Any changes?
I didn't see anything that,
I didn't either.
so I would make the motion to approve the minutes for the 2 meetings that we had.
Second.
Okay. No further discussion, all in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved. County Attorney, are you on the line?
Yes, I
Okay. Any updates for us?
am. Nothing on Kephart. I mean, until he gets initial appearance, nothing's going to happen. I haven't heard anything from Brad Price. So that's all I have.
Okay, well then let's move on. County Engineer, Rich, excuse me, we were gonna
Let's do
do number 9. Solicitation for our IT person. Now, Sammy actually is gone in 16 days. We have 2 options, and I gave you guys all a copy. One would be that we find somebody to take Sammy's place. She and I talked, and we could easily do it probably in 30 hours because she's not taking care of some stuff that will wait till Casey comes back if there's any major changes or that kind of thing. And we did come up with a job summary that was less comprehensive than the one we used for Casey, but we would just be looking for a temporary person. But otherwise, Casey, his recommendations before he left was that as of August 1st, if the issue isn't urgent, we could email him. He would try to answer within 2 to 3 days. If it needs immediate, then we would contact Vision Solutions Software, and we've got a phone number for them. And then, of course, you'd need to state your county department, caller's name and issue. We could make sure that all the department heads have that information. What would you guys like to do?
Well, thinking about the thing this morning driving in, Paul Bergeon from St. Ansgar used to work for the St. Ansgar School. And he still does all kinds of computer work and that, and I would, maybe we should try to contact him to see if he would, you know, if there's emergencies or whatnot, if he would be willing to work on it, and if there's something, like you say, that needs, can wait 5, 6, 4 days or this and that, maybe we just give that to Casey yet, or let him know what's happening, or...
Well, do you think we should just use Paul as needed?
As needed.
That's certainly
Well,
a
I mean,
possibility.
And I haven't talked to Paul, so I have no idea.
Right.
But he very well might be willing, you know, for
Sure.
next year.
That's certainly a solution.
And maybe you want to get Paul, I mean, he's
I
nothing
can
but-
give him a call. I know Paul. I could give him a call.
Sure.
I might not have a phone number though.
He's in the book.
Is he? Okay. Steve?
Sounds good to me. I
Okay,
think
now would I have you guys' permission, if he's okay with it, to go ahead and tell him? Because he would need at least a couple days with Sammy.
would we need to make that a resolution? Both?
Do we need to actually?
make that a
can we just
resolution, or did we
agree on
just
this?
add
I think you should ask the county attorney. He may have different thoughts on that.
Okay. Is our county attorney still on the line?
Yes, I am.
Okay, did you kind of hear what we were talking about? As far as
Yeah.
options for replacing Sammy?
Yeah, I don't think you need a resolution on that. Motion's good enough.
Okay,
I agree.
motions? That's right, yeah, motions.
yeah, I think so too. Okay, Stan, do you want to make that as a motion then? That we would call Paul Bajan as a, as needed person, as needed assistance.
Yeah, we should find out his going rate and that,
Yep.
but I mean, still,
At the moment, we're giving Sammy $20 an hour and no benefits.
well, we could, like I say, actually wait until next week. I don't think we'd have to do it here today.
Well, he's got to have some time with her though,
Yeah, but you're taking off when though?
July 22nd is my last day.
Yeah, but I mean,
16 days.
Well, you don't know he's gonna do it or not. you know?
Right, exactly.
So I'd say you talk to him first before you make any motions.
Okay,
yeah, let's,
all right, and then
Okay,
see what he charges.
and ask him, yeah, what his rate is and so on. Let's go from there.
Okay, all right, I can do that, because I guess that would, because he's not gonna need that long with you, is he, Sammy?
I was with Casey for 2 weeks learning things. So
You were for 2 weeks?
about 2 weeks, yes.
Yeah, it makes me nervous waiting that long.
Doesn't Paul deliver mail?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he's a rural mail carrier. That may make a big
Yeah, he
impact.
may not be able to, I don't know. Like I say, it just dawned on me on the way in this morning.
Rachel, would you have any comments for us here at the moment?
Well, they switched from bronze to silver with solutions. So, I mean, I can give you, they have an agreement that they did. The big thing is, since we switched, we do get a prepaid labor contract, and they can basically do anything over the phone.
Well, let's have a backup plan in
Yeah.
case the call doesn't,
Mm-hmm. Well, we at least know then that we can call them if we,
Yeah, yep, and there's no like hour limit.
okay, because, I talked with Nyack, he said he has one big maybe. He really doesn't have anybody right now that, would be able to even fit in our schedule. And I never heard back from Hamilton, so that's making me think they have no one. So it's not like we have a lot of options here. Okay, I'll give Paul a call,
all right.
all right. And number 10, the lawn mowing at the care facility. I wasn't sure if it was Rich or the conservation that took care of it, and Adam told me that they do. But right now, because it's partially taken down, they really can't mow, there's too much hazards in the way. They can go out and weed eat to try to make it a little better, because we did have a complaint on how it looks.
Well,
Do we have a
it isn't-
suggestion?
It isn't any different than the land out back. I mean, it's grass. I mean, pheasants can lay eggs in it. The building itself, yeah, is an eyesore, but grass is grass. I don't see the problem. I guess maybe you had a complaint, I don't know.
Yeah, and it was just one,
But
but I thought, well, we
You know,
better check if
it's-
if you guys want it to be being weed eated, or,
I don't see a problem with the way it is.
Same here, I mean, if you were having, iron weeds and thistles, 4 foot tall and this and that, that'd be another thing, but if you're just having grass, almost all of our areas that are not, campgrounds or whatnot, I mean, that's what we have, is grass.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's part
Adam,
of the natural.
we have discussed it before, and I know you're kind of wondering what, we're not doing anything about the property right now. We're hoping, since we didn't get this grant last year, a lot of times you can, seems like if you apply again, you have a better chance that next time. And I also think that this might be, tend to be a controversial, bigger decision that maybe 5 supervisors might be more conducive for working on this.
Okay, whatever you guys think.
So, but have you noticed, like, there's not a bunch of thistles or anything?
That area is prone to thistles. We actually hire that one out to be sprayed as of last year. So Helena Chemicals takes care of it.
Okay,
We just don't have equipment to get in that wet spot.
okay,
But
and so you don't think even bother with weed eating right now?
Around the building, it's just grass.
yeah, I
mean,
think it's enough of an eyesore that it's not worth our time. It's
Yeah.
about $3,000 a year to maintain just that grounds. So if you want us to, we can, but it's 200 hours and $3,000 is about what it amounts to. And it
Okay,
still
let's
looks
just,
bad.
let's just leave it as be. I just wanted to address what you guys thought we should, to make sure,
Right.
and let the
For-
public know what we're doing here.
Right now, it could have pheasants in it,
Yeah,
sitting on eggs,
good pee.
and that's what we have the ground out there for, is for Mother Nature.
Conservation right now,
The
yeah.
building itself, yep.
Yep.
It's an eyesore,
I'm fine
but
with
the
that.
grass is grass.
I think the county care facility sign is still up too.
Yes, that is something that could come down.
How's it, is it gonna be a tough one to get down?
Well, Rich Brum, are you on the,
I'm here.
Rich, the county?
Yes, sir.
Did we have I think there's a couple county care facility signs out there that
Oh,
could
yeah.
possibly come down. Could you possibly have somebody take them down?
You talking about the roadway ones or the ones right in front of the building?
Both.
Both.
Yeah, I'd have to look, I don't remember if the roadway ones are up or not. Yeah, we can get them down, and then if you guys want the ones taken down in the yard itself, we can get them out of there too.
Yeah, just
That'd
a
be
couple
great.
minutes with a torch, I think, take the ones down in the yard.
Okay,
That'd be a good
we'll,
step.
we'll get on that.
Okay,
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you. Okay. Any further discussion on this?
Nope,
No.
All right. Then let's go
thanks,
back.
Adam.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Let's get back up to the sheriff.
So we have a
Any updates?
2015 Chevy pickup that, whenever you folks decide you want to sell it, is ready to be sold.
Okay, I don't know if Adam was just here, if he was interested, did he ever talk to you about
Yeah.
that?
He did.
So,
I think they're still interested. He needs to come and look at it, or somebody does.
Stanley, can you catch him with the phone quickly and see if we can get him to come back for that?
I can call him.
Adam can't be too far away. If he answers his phone, that's another story.
He's already driving, he might not.
Well,
It's sitting out back at the sheriff's office, so I can reach him, he can come and look at it, but
okay, yeah,
white Chevy, I mean, it is what it is.
yeah. Well, that's what we'll go with then.
Okay, so you're gonna call him?
I'll
Otherwise I
talk.
could.
Yep, he can come look at it.
Okay.
And if Adam's not interested, we might be also.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
All right. Anything else, Sheriff?
No, unless you folks have questions for me.
You still got those other 2 signs on the drug deals you have to get
Yep.
up, don't you?
Yeah, I talked to Rich about one south of Osage. Yep, still got 2 to go.
Greg, could you get my response on that?
I did.
We talked?
Yep, I'll get back to you, Rich.
What do you, okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, let's see if we can't get them up in the next couple of weeks. I mean, no sense sitting in a closet.
Yeah, we'll get them up.
Just a second here. This is Adam. Yeah, Adam? Yeah, come on back.
You don't need to come back, all I'm gonna do is tell him to look at the truck,
All right,
then you go outside and look at the truck.
yeah,
so.
he'll be there.
Anyways,
Oh, well, you can take him over.
we can,
All right, let's move on. County engineer, what you got for us, Rich?
Did a few interviews in the last week and a half. They interviewed 4 individuals. One individual is, got a lot of experience at least. And he's got 4 years working with a company out in North Dakota, as an assistant to the engineer. So I'm, reviewing a little bit more on him. Seems like a very qualified candidate. He happens to be a engineer intern who's getting his license. So, had a little discussion with his future on that. Also wanted to maybe talk to you guys, about, and maybe it's got to do, maybe we can talk to the county attorney about when I hire somebody in the office, for a position such as what we're applying for, if there's any, leeway as far as somebody coming in with, engineering backgrounds. I don't know, do we stick completely to the handbook when it comes to vacation and things like that, or are we a little open to offer a few options to get people in or not? I guess, I don't know if handbook is more of a guide than a rule. Just kind of maybe wanted to get some thoughts on that, a little bit of leeway on that.
Yeah, if you look at the first page of our handbook and you look at the last page of our handbook, it says this is not a contract, it's not binding, it's basically just guidelines. So with the supervisor's approval, you've got as much leeway to do anything you want. That handbook is just a guideline.
Well, I know, I mean, you start opening it up, but trying to get a specialized person in the office here, sometimes you gotta give and take a little bit to get somebody in the door. But you're looking for somebody with a lot of experience. So, I'll be doing some more background stuff on him, and see where it goes. But I think he's very highly qualified. He's got a lot of experience, has a lot of engineering background. Worked a lot in the Bakken oil fields in North Dakota, so he's very well aware of road construction and such. So, I can give you guys some more information later on about that. Also, one other thing, we've been kind of hit up with a potentially large cost for a tile crossing. There's some individuals who are going to be tiling a couple hundred acres, few hundred acres of land that need a pretty sizable road crossing underneath the Hard Service Road. Could be to the tune of about $63,000. I've asked to get a quote from them about cutting the road versus boring, also getting a second boring quote. So, pretty expensive little tile crossing there. So, I don't know, something in the future we can discuss is policies on roadway crossings, and if we want to handle some of these larger ones. We really don't have a policy to explain, how the county will handle that other than just paying the bill for the right of way. So, but just kind of give you a heads up on that. And then also probably a heads up that we're going to be getting into it fiscal year, but holding some bills back. So early this next pay session, there's going to be substantial bills coming through from secondary roads. Any questions, comments?
Could you guys catch all that? It was a little hard to hear.
got a lot of it.
You kind of cut out off and on, Rich, so hopefully we
Sorry.
caught that.
Yeah, just to review then, did you get all the interview stuff that I had discussed?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and then the final thing I had was potentially expensive tile crossing for some tile underneath a paved road. It could cost up to about $63,000. And I guess I've asked the contractors to give me an estimate on what it would cost to open cut the Hard Service Road, and also to get a second quote on another boring company rate, just so we get a better idea of what it should cost. What I asked was maybe in the future we should look at a policy. I know some counties budget X amount of dollars for tile crossings for a year, and that's all that they pay out. Versus we've kind of been an open checkbook as far as that goes. But just something to think about in the future.
Rich, this is Mark Walk. This is just for my education. So if a private landowner puts in tile and we have to cross a road, the county pays for that?
According to Iowa code on drainage, it's some counties pay and some don't, but there's some verbiage in the Iowa code, the drainage law, that's kind of confusing in the sense that it says that the local agency pays for the initial construction and then maintenance, but I don't know whether if you've got an existing crossing now that a private company or a private individual put through, there's already an existing crossing there now, but it's not one that's, number one, adequate the additional acreage. Number two, that crossing ties into private tile on this side of the road, which the other landowner doesn't have permission for. So it kind of seems to get pretty spendy for us to keep providing stuff. If you've got any other information on the drainage law, I can get you that code section that explains it. But in some ways, it's kind of confusing as to how far we take. Is replacing the one considered maintenance, or is it considered new, or not our problem? I guess there's some definitions in there that are difficult to interpret.
Why don't you just email me that code section and I'll take a look at the case law and see what it says.
Yeah, I think that would be our best because we don't know what our legal liability is on that.
When it's a drainage district, it's pretty clear that we pay for it,
Yes.
but it has to be an established drainage district. But as far as private tile goes, some counties don't pay anything. Some counties put a certain amount towards it, and some counties pay all of it. And right now, we've been one to pay all of it right away. But this is a pretty spendy one.
Yeah.
I just need to give you a heads up.
Well, that would be good if Mark checked in a little more.
Yeah, we need Mark's thoughts on this.
I'll get him some information.
All right, thank you. Anything else, Rich?
I have nothing. We had ordered a dump truck here, last whatever. It's still setting up at the snow equipment installer's lot. Probably still 5 to 6 weeks out yet to probably get into their shop, and then another few weeks to get the equipment. Hopefully we get it before winter. We knew it was going to be a long set time because of the way equipment's been backlogged. So that's all I've got for you.
Rich, I was visiting an elevator yesterday anyways, a scalping party kind of come after me. There's some thistles in the ditch, and the farmers were concerned about the thistles and the wild parsnips, and I indicated to them that the wild parsnips are growing all over, and that's, we're not going to spray all the ditches in the county, but their big gripe was thistles. And
all right.
he says, well,
Talk with Austin.
I indicated to them that I don't know where Austin is in the county, and I don't know what he's doing or where, what's going on, but I said I would bring this up to you. And they indicated that, well, the thistles are going from the purple to the pink stage, and in a few days will be white. So our not doing anything sooner won't help if we do something now. So anyways, that was what I wanted to.
You have a specific location, Steve?
Or
is it in general?
The north of the 4 Mile corner, up to Little Cedar, and then back east. The farmers that caught me are living along that blacktop. And
Okay.
that was where they were, I would assume, where they were concerned about.
Okay.
Well, yesterday morning, Austin was on T26 south of St. Ansgar, spraying. And what also has to be kept in mind is we have almost 1,400 miles of ditches. You know, there's 2 miles for every mile of road. And so, you know, the task is really almost impossible to
Keep it all up.
Well, and the parsnip is something that's really, really, really difficult to attack.
Well, and I don't see them as noxious a weed as the thistles.
No, yep. Well, and parsnip's not on the noxious weed list yet. I know the thistles are, so I'll get with Austin and find out where his schedule's been at.
I think those
I know
parsnips,
he's got certain environmental, you know, the weather and wind and everything else he's got to account for also.
Correct. Well,
I'll get with Austin.
I think those parsnips, isn't all of Iowa kind of complaining about them?
yeah.
Well, it's all of Iowa and Minnesota and everywhere else.
Yeah, the whole area. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Thanks, Richard.
Okay, we'll get back to our county service rough and gutter consideration of bids. I know, Steve, you found out that the gutters wasn't actually part of that amount you gave us for Tim, or Alan Tim's roofing.
Well, it was.
But it would still be
I had
cheaper.
it added into that, but I didn't realize it was a separate contractor. So anyways, the fellow doing the gutters is a Darren Martins from, or we plan on having doing the gutters is a Darren Martins. I have a certificate of liability insurance, and he said he will guarantee his work on the gutters as long as he's in business. Well, that seems to be a little bit, I would imagine his guarantee was probably going to be what we can legally hold him to would be a year. Now, getting back to the roof itself, the 40-year shingles, I visited with Al from Al and Tim's Roofing, and I get out his, I wanted him to write up an agreement, but apparently this is their agreement. Okay. To my knowledge, Al and Tim's Roofing is responsible for 1 year. That will be their warranty on their insurance, or on their, that's their insurance, guarantee or warranty on the shingles, and that he also has a $500,000 insurance policy. Material and labor, lift, rent, and everything, his cost will be $23,000 to do the shingles, and that's to tear off also the old gutters.
There is no gutter up there, is there?
Well, what little is there apparently it must be something. He's going to tear that off. And this Darren Martin, his bill to install gutters and put in downspouts, that's 345 foot of gutter, and his bill will be $2,317.62. So the total will be, the two together, is $25,317. Now, Mason City Roofing, their bill to do the roof and the gutters is $42,880. That's a difference of $17,563. Now, again, the shingles that both parties sell have a 40-year guarantee, the shingles themselves. As Mason City's roofing, their guarantee is 5 years on workmanship. So, for the extra 4 years of workmanship, we're gonna pay $17,563 difference. So, there's what I have. Again, Mason City's roofing's bill is $42,880 as the combined billing.
What's your recommendation? Cause I gotta get, not trying to,
Well, the one's $25,317.
is that your recommendation?
We get a 1-year service,
Yes,
and that's what I would say would be our best bet.
Is that
So,
your motion?
yep,
are you gonna make the motion? To accept them as a,
Well, you've been researching it, you should make the motion and I'll second it.
I make a motion that we go with Al and Tim's roofing and that other fella, Darren Martin, to do the downspout.
Second.
okay, no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry, I got
Nay?
another thing to go
See ya.
to, so.
Thank you, Stan.
So, Alan Tim's Roofing, and along with this Darren Martin's, that's approved.
Thank you.
For the $25,317, correct?
$25,317, that is the total.
Okay, all right, let's go on to the tobacco permit. Wait, we missed our approving of our budget appropriations resolution. Okay, this is just kind of the last thing we do. It's already been approved and et cetera. We just need to have this resolution. Any discussion before we get started here?
I have nothing.
There's nothing out of the ordinary here, correct, Lowell?
No, this is just the annual certification for fiscal year 2021. These are all in the budget earlier.
We all have this ahead to look at, so,
I'll make a motion to approve.
okay, do you wanna do both resolutions?
Do them separate.
Do them separate, all right, we'll do that. Okay, I'll second that. This would be for the resolution 1063-20. And, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that resolution is passed. Now for resolution 1064-20. I'll go ahead and move that we approve this one.
And I shall second that.
Okay, with no further discussion, that is taken care of too for resolution 1064-20.
Need to vote.
Do you want a separate roll call? Oh, excuse me, all in
We
favor?
probably should have did that with the first one
Well,
too.
there's only two of us. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Okay, now we'll talk about that tobacco. That I have not looked at yet. This would be for Mona Tobacco. Oh,
It's up in the curve at the moment.
yeah, I didn't know that's what it was called though. A Bone, what is that?
Boone 2.
Boone 2 Incorporated, Mona Tobacco. Okay,
Everything's in order.
yeah,
I'll make that motion to approve the tobacco permit for Ubuntu Incorporated of Mona.
I'll second it. They've got everything they need. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that is approved for Ubuntu Incorporated. I've got a couple of things before I start on my committees. We got a notification, utilities, Osage Utilities sends it to us every year. It's just a reminder for those, putting up drains this time of year. It talks about wanting to alert them to all the requirements. There are definitely rules in place concerning overhead power lines, regardless of whether the bins are located along the road, cross-country or elsewhere. The safety code requires an extreme amount of clearance between the distribution electric lines and the grain bins. Any questions and proper procedure wanted, call the utilities at 832-3731. I want to remind our people here in the courthouse that this is from the Wellness Committee to please do their online assessments because at the moment we have 0% discount for next year unless people start getting to doing this. And then we got from ISAC, the Iowa State Association of Counties, and the Iowa Judicial Branch, recommended checklist for COVID-19 while serving the public services to the public. And it was 3 pages of stuff, and I went through it with Dave Hardo, and we really are up to par with where we need to be. Okay, and then I'm gonna give my meeting notes. That was all I wanted to talk about. Okay, economic development. We did discuss raising demolishing of blighted areas, but that is actually got put off until the July agenda. Tony was asked to look for members of those starting a new business. So if someone's interested in helping with this, call the economic development. Let's see. We decided to reinstate now the interest and repayment of your revolving loan funds. We had, stopped that during the COVID crisis, but we need to get back going on that. Let's see. That's something we'll do for today. The PPP will be, which is the payroll protection program, will probably be offering another round of business loans, and they still actually have some available now, so people need to keep that in mind. And we're going to start holding our meetings at a different time on the third, at least for summer, the third Monday of the month at 7. I had a substance abuse coalition meeting. I took minutes as Betty was on the phone for us talking with FEMC about re-upping their 3-year commitment to us. And just a heads up, they'll be coming back to us too because our 3-year commitment is up. We had some leftover stickers that I arranged with the Stacyville summer reading program that we could put it in their packets. And Jay delivered the stickers. Amy completed assessment interviews for community readiness. Working on our goals was tabled until next month when hopefully more members can attend. Mitchell County took over the tobacco grant, but it sounds like no new people received the grant, and we'll check to make sure if Mitchell County is going to be for sure doing that if the grant does open back up. JA named businesses who had failed their compliance checks within the last 6 months, and Amy, he'll actually speak to them in person, showing them the app that can be used with carding people, and Amy will reach out again to them to offer tips training. She's social distancing, so she contacts them by call, emails, social media such as Facebook when she tries to get hold of them. And let's see, the next meeting, we're actually gonna meet in the courthouse, but our phone options will still be available. And I made sure, and Lowell helped me, got that reserved. County Social Service meeting, we met in person, so a lot of my meetings are opening up, but what they're tending to do is they are only opening up if they can find larger spaces that we can be the 6 feet apart. And so we met at the fairgrounds. We hired the current administrative assistant, Karen Dowell, as the interim director, starting June 30th, when Bob Lincoln moves on to his new position at Elevate in Waterloo. Karen will receive a 7% raise for taking on the added responsibilities, and then she gets a 3% cost of living, as they all do in July. As part of the HR committee, I am, along with Megan Teets, we have a job description and will advertise on Indeed with ISAC, and I checked on some other sites for them, and we found another job site that seems to have more people on it, and I didn't write it on here, I can't remember what it was called. It wasn't Monster, seems like it was something with a, I'm not sure. Bob will continue pro bono as a consultant for iStart. Now Felicia shared the great news that our iStart program has gained national certification for this. And iStart actually helps providers with those who have both intellectual and mental health issues. We had a $2 million spike, over $1 million, due to, we had got new beds for Prairie View. But we are still within our budget. We've been notified that state is considering dividing us into 2 regions. We voted to send a group letter with our objections to this. It was also recommended that we individually write to the governor and our reps, which I already did. Northeast Iowa Workforce Area CEO, that's just too long a name, had a meeting by phone. Shared liability agreement, we went through making more changes. We discussed our continued discussion on fiscal agents, and it sounds like Waterloo Intercog is putting together a proposal for us. As far as hiring staff, Corey has someone interested in being part of the staff, and he'll revisit, or we could actually use a firm for this, so nothing's decided on that. Bylaws for the new development board, we're going to get copies from other areas and kind of piece together what we want. Let's see, our next steps, we need to get nominations for the development board, but first we have to decide how many we actually want on the development board. Corey will send an email out on what exactly we need. 16 out of 19 are actually appointed by us, and then there's a couple that do not require gender-based balanced, but most do. And we want region balance and political balance also. Okay, I think I'm done.
I would have had one meeting, but it canceled, so again, I don't have any meetings.
Okay.
I should have some this coming week. So.
Okay. Then we need to talk about board appointments. I know, Lowell, we talked about that Dennis Riley is available to go on conservation again because he can serve 2 5-year terms, and he's just done 1 so far. Did we already vote on that one?
No.
That's what I thought. So I'll also move that Dennis Riley.
I'll second.
Okay.
He'd be an excellent person to
Yes,
keep
yes,
on the board.
I guess he's been
conservation.
invaluable help already, so that's wonderful. I'm glad he's interested in doing it again. So, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Dennis is on that conservation board. And then, what's a scoop on the library board?
We did that last Friday.
Okay, so that got totally taken care of, right? Okay, and I have the new people written down, so we're good. All right, I think that's all we needed then for that. And I think I've discussed everything else I wanted to on here. Do we have any public comments?
I'd like to make a public comment.
Yes.
I don't know if they use it or not, but somebody better be checking into whether we use any dicamba. You heard about the
Any what?
dicamba for spraying? The Ninth Court of Appeals struck down certification of it, and farmers cannot use that past the 31st of July.
It
And-
can't be sold anymore.
Yeah. And they'll see if they renew their license, but what makes it so bad is when you spray the stuff, it volatilizes. Comes back into the air, it can do that for as long as a week. If it goes over a bean field that is not genetically, it'll kill them.
And who passed this?
The Ninth Court of Appeals struck down their license. And I can get you that there's 3 companies and you can't use that stuff. Farmers can't use it anymore. And I talked to a guy here in town and he said they used to use it on yards. And I've talked to city council, that stuff shouldn't be used anywhere after, say,
Well, it's grandfathered until what, July 31st?
yeah, well, they struck it down, and the EPA said if farmers had it on hand, they'd let them spray it till the 31st of July. But I don't know if we use it in ditches or not, but
Well,
that's nasty stuff.
I can contact Rich and Adam too, as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I'll make
And
sure.
I've got,
Dicamba,
Are you both
isn't
on?
that typically, isn't that Roundup?
no, that's not Roundup.
No, that's something
It's
else.
nothing Roundup.
I know
It's
Roundup
dicamba.
they're saying is definitely cancer causing.
This
Okay.
isn't cancer causing. It sprays, it comes back into the air, it can move over another bean field that are not genetically, and if it kills it or anything, in orchards, it does it to orchards, it does it to vineyards, you're responsible if you spray that stuff. The state law makes you responsible. That's something to check into.
Yeah,
Okay.
check
I'll
into
make sure
that,
Adam
Rich.
knows. And
Fine.
Rich, you heard, right?
Yep, we'll look into it.
Okay, all right, thanks for sharing that. Any other public comments? It's always good to keep up on that. Okay, we'll call this meeting adjourned.
Now.